Hi everyone, welcome back. So this is a quick clip that we're going to get into that was from a previous video. But as always, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research and invest in following coins and companies. And let's get into the clip. So Hive blockchain provides March 2023 production update with over 3 exahash of production. So that's good. They have grown a little bit here, quite nicely actually in this month. And here's the details. So summary overview, Hive produced 282 Bitcoin in the month of March 2023 from ASIC and GPU mining operations, representing an average of 91 Bitcoin per exahash, with an average hash rate of 3.09 exahash. Hive produced an average of 91 BTC per day in March. Hive has received over 5,600 buzz miners in its data centers, all of which are operating as of today, so that's good there. And then Hive ended the month with 3.36 exahash of mining capacity, including ASIC and GPU Bitcoin hash rate. So that's a combination of those. They're closer to like 3.0 something with their own Bitcoin miners. And then Hive sold all of the Bitcoin earned from our GPU mining hash rate payouts. I actually have them selling potentially more than that, but we'll take a look at it. And then here's an update. So Frank, I'm surprised that Frank is still chiming in here. I would have expected him to kind of go off to the wayside a little bit here and let Aiden do a little bit more of the talking, but he's on here anyways. He's the executive chairman now of Hive, as Aiden is the president and CEO. So Frank had this to say. Additionally, our average daily HPC income has increased by 14% on average month over month from February to March. So that's actually pretty good that is increasing, and that's kind of what we want to see there. Here's what Aiden had to say. We have successfully completed our deployment of our first build out of the Hive Buzz miner, and we mined at an average hash rate of over 3 exahash for the month of March. So that's good there. They got over 3 exahash, which is great. Let's see here. 3.36 exahash of BTC hash rate as of March 31, comprised of 3.06 exahash of ASIC BTC hash rate and 0.3 exahash of GPU BTC equivalent hash rate. So there's that calculation there. I'm using just the BTC and adding in if I need to for the GPU miners revenue for that, if I can't get it to work out with my numbers. Okay, let's see down here. We go down. Here it is. So this was, I don't know who was talking about here. I think it's just in general they were saying it. But here's basically the paragraph what it reads. They're talking about the difficulty increases in the production costs and things like that. So those miners with the lowest cost of production, by virtue of having more efficient machines and or lower energy costs, are able to continue their production during these volatile cycles. Not all miners will continuously mine during the month. As a result, some miners will produce less Bitcoin than expected relative to their advertised hash rate. For the foregoing reason, Hive will self-curtail part of its operations if the unhedged spot energy prices are uneconomical, thereby leaving part of its total gross hash rate unutilized. Right? So I wonder if this is kind of giving us a little bit of a clue, a hint potentially of what we may expect from the Sweden facility, which if prices go up to, where they're saying they're going to go up to 7 something cents per kilowatt hour, that's definitely going to hurt them a bit there. So I wonder with spot pricing, if they don't have fixed pricing there, if that goes up, they may be curtailing over there quite a bit. Okay, so that's the only thing I was able to find on that one. And where was it on Bitcoin themselves? See, I thought I had it here someplace marked. Looking for the Bitcoin hodl position here. Let me see here. Where was it? I know I saw it here someplace. It wasn't in the, let's see here. There it is. Okay, there it is. Approximately, hodl balance of approximately 2,310 Bitcoin as of March 31st. So that's kind of what we're going with as far as what they had. And then we're subtracting what they potentially sold during the month of that as well. Okay, so let's see if I have all that information here. Yeah, I do. Okay. So let's go into this new format here that I'm working on, and let's take a look at it here. So here's the new format for it compared to what you guys just saw with Sphere 3D. Let me know if you guys prefer this format or the original format, and if there's anything else you would want to have included in this format. If there's something, some metrics that you'd like to see included in this. This is just a rough draft right now, so this is not a final design or anything like that. One of the things I noticed is some of the text might be a little small. I was viewing this on my iMac screen, which I think has like a 5K screen on it or something like that. And to me, it was looking pretty big, but now when I look at it on here, it looks a little bit smaller on the 1080p monitor. So let me know if that's too small. I'll see if I can change stuff around, okay? So here's what we got. Shares outstanding for Hive right now is 88.61 million. All right, that's over here. Stock price is at $3.85. Market cap is at 341 million as of right now. And you can see here that the last week they've done pretty good here, 25% up. Last 4 weeks are up 29%. Last 8 weeks up 51.7%. And the last 12 weeks are up 19.5%. So overall, we're in the green on them. Okay, let's take a look at some numbers here. So this is where things might get a little bit too small for you guys. Let me know if that's the case. Like I said, I'll have to change things around. Bitcoin hodl position is right now 2,310. That's 66.8 million in revenue roughly. Hodl to market cap is about 19.6% of their market cap is hodl position. And then each share has about 74 cents of it right now. BTC per 1 million shares generated, or what they earned, is 3.182. That's a new metric that I added in there. Not sure if you guys are going to like that one or not. Let me know. And we can see their BTC production here has peaked in August at 518, and then it has continued to come down until December of last year at 213 Bitcoin. We had a pretty big drop here in September. You can see here negative 125 Bitcoins were mined less here. We were down 89 in October, down 43 in November from the prior months, and then we were down also 50 from in December from November. So we've seen a continuous drop here. Finally, they got pretty much their act together a little bit and got more miners getting installed here, which is good from the Intel ASICs. So right in September is when they were mining Ethereum. Ethereum went to proof of stake. That obviously had a big impact on them as far as what they were generating as revenue. And that continued through October, since they were able to mine a little bit through September, through like 13th or 14th Ethereum, okay? So that kind of explains that. They sold, it looks like 337 Bitcoin here based on my calculations of their production of 282. They currently hodled 2,310. So that's kind of what we get there. And then BTC efficiency, I got them at actually higher than what they report. I have them at 93.05. And I think that's mainly because of their Ethereum or Ethereum alternative mining that they are doing right now. Okay. But overall, we can see this downtrend here happening, and we see this across all the miners for the most part. Network hash rate is going up. This efficiency is going to continue to go down because they are going to be mining less per exahash as time goes on. HODL position, you can see here the last 12 months of HODL roughly. It pretty much peaked here and looks like in October and November. Then they sold a bunch here in December, and this was, I think, to pay for the ASICs from Intel, the ones that they had made for themselves. That's what that big drop is associated with. Then went up a little bit here and then continued to come down here as well. So they have been selling quite a bit more here recently than in the past. I probably should also include how much they've been selling as a chart here someplace as well. Let me know if you want to see that chart, how much they've been selling as well, okay? So that's Bitcoin production here. Let's take a look at hash rate and revenue. So current hash rate, I have them at 3.03. Exahash, they said 3.6, so we're pretty close there. Future hash rate is going to be about 3.4, at least what I have reported as far as what they have on hand to install. So they're about 86% installed, 12.7% growth left. And let's see here, total hash rate in petahash, you could view it that way, or in exahash, you just go 3.0 or 2.5. But you can see here that they peaked here at 3.7. This was including the GPU miners as well. So those were accounted for as hash rate in that. And you can see a pretty big drop here, and obviously in September. This chart over here shows just the Bitcoin miners themselves. So in my table, I had it split up between GPU, Bitcoin ASIC miners, and then the total. This was the total for the combination of the two. This one is just for the ASIC miners. Okay, so we saw pretty small growth here through pretty much the first part of the year. They were up 150 petahash, 30, 60, 25, 36, 0, 80, 0. Then they were down at 318 petahash. I think they took off some of the old miners, turned them off, basically. That had them reduce a pretty good amount of petahash. But then they spiked back up here in January when they installed more of the Intel ASIC miners. And they had pretty nice growth here as well. Let's see here. Why is it showing me 523? I'll have to look into that. So that might be a off thing here, because they were up obviously in January, but February they were up to 2.586 from 2.523. That seems a bit high, so that might have been an error there. But they were up nicely here in March as well to 3 exahash, which would have been a growth of approximately not 900, but probably closer to 500, 400 some growth. So I got to look into that. Like I said, this is just a rough draft right now. We'll find any bugs and fix them. If you guys see anything, an error or anything like that, let me know. Okay, revenue per month. This is the revenue that was reported based on the number of Bitcoins that they mined. And at beginning of the year of 2022, I was using the end of the month Bitcoin price, which I've learned that going forward, I think from September onwards, we use the average Bitcoin price for those. Okay, so that's kind of how that's being calculated there. And here, okay, so I do actually have BTC sold per month, but it's just in dollar amounts. You can see here that well, revenue per month has been decreasing for the most part from the beginning of the year down to 3.62 million in December. That was the worst month there, but it has been increasing quite nicely here, I guess you could say, in the beginning part of the 2023, which is good. And then as far as what they've been selling here, they sold a bunch here in December, and that was to fund those Intel ASIC miners that they purchased, had made, installed. And then we saw a pretty nice drop here to 3.6 million only being sold in January, looks like. And then we had a little bit of an increase here in February, so they actually sold more than they mined here. And the same thing looks like possibly in March, based on my numbers on this. And that's based on what they report as far as what they hodl. There was one month they didn't provide that. I think it was in January that they didn't provide it. So we were kind of, I think, maybe guessing on that one a little bit what they could be at, what is sold. But that's kind of where we're at right now. Those things probably have evened out by now. Okay, so that's where we are with that. And institutions and quarterly results here a little bit. Let me know if you guys want this stuff in here or not. If quarterly results should be just including the quarterly updates that I do on these guys. But here's what we got. So institutions, this might be a little small for you guys. I can see that now. Institutions did increase here to 100, so that's good there. Shares also increased a little bit here by about 40,000 to 13.66 million from 13.62. And percentage owned actually went down a little bit to 16.24 from 16.25. That is a little bit of a decrease, which could be the result of dilution a little bit. And then we still have one strong buy rating, two buy ratings, 0 hold, 0 underperform, 0 sell. Price target stayed pretty much the same at $7 for the high, $4.98 for the average. $2.94 actually went down a little bit from the previous one of $2.95. Okay. Now, their cost to mine Bitcoin. So these are the quarterly results from Q4 2022, Q1 2023, Q2 2023, and Q3 2023. These I'm taking out all the depreciation out of those based on the numbers that they provide out of that. And this is kind of what I'm getting at. 13.6 was for Q3, which was the last quarter, ending in December, I believe. And then their quarterly revenue here, the last four should be the ones that they reported. And then the Q4 one here that I'm looking at for 2023 is an estimate for what they reported here in January, February, and March. So we are starting to go back up a little bit as far as revenue is concerned. So that's good there. Debt to equity ratio has been increasing a little bit, but it's not too bad. We're still under 1, so that's good there. Lower is better always. Current ratio has been coming down here, which still isn't too bad. They still have 2.8 times the current assets to pay the current liabilities. So that's still good there. Higher is always better, but you don't want to be too high because then you're just sitting on cash and you're wasting it. You want to be kind of efficient with your cash, especially with inflation. You really want to be moving that cash into something more tangible. Total current assets, you can see here that has been coming down to 63 million now at the bottom of Q3, and total current liabilities has come down a little bit here to 23.3 million as well. So that's good there. So they do have plenty of cash, 63 million to cover those current liabilities, which is great to see. And we don't have any fears of them going under anytime soon, potentially. Okay, so here are my estimates like I normally do at the end of these. Right now, we're looking at the current average Bitcoin price for the month of April is around 28,948. Current quarter revenue estimate is about 18.17 million in revenue. Last 3 quarters, we're looking at 88. This is reported. This is actual. Combined total is 106 million for the 4 quarters. This quarter and the past 3 quarters. 50% net income from gross revenue, looking at 53. EPS of 60 cents. PE of 15 would get us to about $8.99. They are currently at, where are they at? They are at $3.85. So I think they are still undervalued, in my opinion. And I think this one is pretty fair right now, especially with the way the economics are for Bitcoin. I wouldn't go 75% unless we start getting Bitcoin probably closer to 50, maybe 60,000. Then their profit per Bitcoin should increase to where they have 75% net income from gross revenue potentially, but that's not until a little ways out. Okay, but that's kind of where we would be at 1349 if Bitcoin starts going up to those values and above. And that could even actually get better because if Bitcoin goes up to 100,000, well, then you might be looking at 90% profit margin instead of 75%. Okay, So I do think they are still undervalued a little bit here, not much. They would be about what, roughly 2.2x to increase to where they are right now from 3.85 to the 8.9. So a little bit undervalued, but let me know what you guys think of this. Obviously, like I said, I did find a little mistake there. We'll have to figure that out. And just overall, let me know if the font was too small, if it was okay. I think it might be a little bit too small, but let me know. Also, if there's any other metrics that you want to have included in there, whatever those might be. So hit me down with the comments down below, and then I'll go through them, make some notes on it, and I'll include those in as well. And this may actually be put back into my spreadsheets, but I'll make it so it's the top part of my spreadsheets is all of this information, and then everything else below is going to be all the data information. Okay, that's kind of the plan, at least to make it a little bit easier for myself, because otherwise I'm spending a lot of time moving data from one spot to the other, which is just a waste of time. All right, that is it for Hive. Let me know what you guys think of them. I'm glad that they finally reported their production update, but I would like to see them going forward, get that in within the first 5 to 7 days of the new month. That would be great. That way we can include them in our analysis over the other miners as well. Other than that, they definitely need to grow. We're seeing newer miners like Cypher, TeraWolf, CleanSpark are kicking their rear ends right now as far as growth is concerned. And they've been around this a lot longer. They should know better how to operate than those guys. Okay? And they should have the contacts and everything else to grow faster than new entrants are. That's just my thoughts on it. Okay? So that is it for them.